Hi, I'm Lisa Godinho. I'm the Principal Field Research Scientist with Melbourne's Microbats. This is a project where we're trying to get an understanding of how bats use the urban environment. So microbats typically use tree hollows to roost in during the day. They're nocturnal animals. They come out at night to feed on insects. And we want to understand how the massive changes that we've made to their natural environment impacting on the number of species that we find in and around the city, and how they're using the city. Where are they roosting? So it's part of a larger study, and Caroline Wilson is the PhD student involved. So basically the study involves trapping using these heart traps. We trap bats to get an understanding of which species are in the area, and then we are fixing radio transmitters to some of those bats, and there's 3 of them out there at the moment, which Caroline is tracking. The Earthwatch volunteers are involved in the field studies that we're doing. We're using these heart traps to trap bats at night so that we can assess which species are using the urban environment. And then those volunteers then help us process the animals, so that includes taking some measurements, recording some data about each of the individuals that we catch, and then some individuals we're fixing radio transmitters to, so that they can be followed back to their roosts during the day, so that we know whereabouts, if they're using the Botanic Gardens as a roosting site, which trees are they using? Are they native trees? Are they introduced trees? And if they're not in the gardens, where are they? Are they in buildings? Are they in other trees around the city? So it's really important that we understand how they're using the urban environment, so that we can plan for their future conservation and think about, in terms of urban planning, how can we better accommodate some of the wildlife that we have sharing this city with us. So microbats are a really important part of Australia's biodiversity. They're really important insectivores. All of those mosquitoes and moths and bugs and things that we see so many of on some hot summer nights, these animals are out there eating pretty much their body weight every night in insects. So really important in controlling insect populations. So we understand, other than that, very little about how they fit into the ecology of Australia, and in particular the ecology in the urban environment. So the more we can have volunteers involved in projects like this, the better our understanding is going to be of these really important little animals. As a field researcher, I find working with volunteers a really great experience. They bring a lot to the project, their enthusiasm, different points of view, new ways of looking at things, and sometimes the volunteers come up with better ways of doing things than we would have thought of ourselves. So it's having their hands and their able bodies is really important, but having their minds and their contributions and their enthusiasm and enjoyment of the subject really just, I guess, brings back to you how lucky you are to have a job as a field researcher. So the volunteers are just fabulous.